Well, as you can see, these little exercises now have an official name. It was suggested by one of the viewers. I thought it was pretty catchy, and we're going to keep it. I'm also going to try to do one every Monday. We'll see how that works out. Today, I want to talk about how sometimes we fail to see the forest because there's so many doggone trees in the way. So it is with the social media that has become such an important part of the lives of so many of us. Back in the dark ages, when I was growing up, had anybody told me that eventually I'd be able to directly and instantly communicate with anybody I chose anywhere in the world, I would have thought them a candidate for the Laughing Academy. And yet here I am, talking, and on video no less, to potentially countless numbers of people, thanks to this incredible thing called the Internet. According to the website Smart Insights, 4.5 billion people are using the Internet as this year began. That is about 60% of the 8 billion souls on this planet already online this past January. Active social media users as of January stood at 3.8 billion. That's a 9% increase over the year before. Facebook, of course, has a healthy lead over the other social media players. YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger round out the top four. At best, this web that links virtually every spot on the globe and every person on the globe is a wondrous thing, allowing the free interchange of ideas, cultures, information, entertainment, and so much more. But what I'm here today about is those who choose to use the incredible power not for the good or the joy of others, but rather as a forum to express in so many ways the underbelly of our society. I include in this number the hackers who for some perverse reason get their kicks by messing up the computers, the phones, and other online devices of people they don't know, or who steal personal information for financial gain. But even more prevalent are those who abuse the lack of face-to-face contact on social media to attack everybody else, to spread false and sometimes downright dangerous information, and generally make it appear that they just despise others. We know at least one who will argue endlessly that their political or religious beliefs are the one true path to human enlightenment. They'll take a stance on an issue and refuse to back down, no matter that there is little or no factual evidence to support them. And it seems that some have an almost insatiable need, for example, to respond to even the most innocuous post with something that supports their viewpoint or finding fault, even when their response is to others obviously ignorant of the intent of the original poster. Now here is what I think Facebook and others like it should be about. This has allowed me to connect with a gal who once lived next door to my family in the 1940s and 1950s, with guys I served in the U.S. Army with nearly 70 years ago, to keep in touch with my family members despite the many miles that separate us. People who I've worked with since the early days and throughout almost 50 years in broadcasting now thoroughly populate my friends list, as do many members of the extended family Nancy and I were a part of during 30 years in the airshow business. With these and all the others, I get to share the days of our lives, the ups, the downs, the laughter, the tears, in a way the very young me could never have imagined. I, for one, would rather see pictures of the grandchildren and great-grandchildren unfettered by having to skip over yet another know-nothing screed from somebody I barely know. So here's a request. The next time you're tempted to launch into a one-sided political tirade or make a negative comment on a post by somebody else, stop and think. Think how you would feel when you see others do this, and ask yourself, why should you be one of them? Now look, I know life is not all sunshine and lollipops and rainbows, just as well as I know that hardly anybody has ever made a Facebook post that changed anybody else's mind. But please remember this. Each and every one of us is going to die someday. Nobody gets out alive. And will be remembered not for the physical or metaphorical monuments that we build, but rather for our words and deeds. It takes an exhausting effort to be unhappy, and so much less to enjoy every day in every way, including, by the way, while you're on the internet.